what they did to your family, you're lucky to make it out alive.
Streaming on Peacock.
These men are going to come after me. Taking them out is my only chance.
Put a bullet in her head.
From the co-creator of Ozark.
Looks like a family was running drugs.
Execution-style killing, it's rare for the Keys. And it leads on who they might have been running for.
The cartel killed my family. I'm gonna kill them. All of them.
MIA. Streaming now. Only on Peacock.
Have you ever experienced the unexplainable? Had a close call or a brush with death? What about an eerie encounter with a real-life monster? Or something paranormal that scared the living daylights out of you? I'm B-Buster, horror enthusiast and the host of the Be Scared podcast. Each week, I tell the allegedly true stories that are sure to raise the hairs on your arms and keep you looking over your shoulder as you walk home alone at night. Tune in every Wednesday to be creeped out, be spooked, and be scared.
This content may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion advised.
We were bent over, crouching, holding our shirts over our faces, and we could barely breathe. Behind us, we could hear loud, scuffling noises that kept getting closer and closer.
He just stood there, watching me. No movement, no words, just staring.
At this point, my sister is completely freaking out. I'm trying to calm her down, but I'm also blaring the horn and focusing on the road.
From Killer Podcasts. True tales of horror, bizarre happenings, unexplainable events. This is Disturbed. Hello, and welcome back to the show. This week we have 4 haunting stories you'll wish were taken to the grave. So sit back, listen closely, and dive into the horror. In our first story, a late-night errand takes 2 sisters on the ride of their lives. Narrated by Vanessa Singleton. From Reddit user XXGemini2003XX.
A couple of years ago, I just moved out of my dad's place and into my sister's place. We were both in a party time of our life. We were throwing a small get-together, and she suggested picking up some flowers. I agreed and offered to drive. It's pretty late by the time we leave, maybe 11 to midnight. We're driving, having our own little concert to early 2000s songs, and my sister's holding the GPS. We were really locked in on Hannah Montana, so she kept forgetting to tell me when to turn, and I kept forgetting to ask. We got very far off our original path. After missing the 5th, maybe 6th turn, we end up on a back road. I just say, screw it, and put the car in reverse to go back to make the correct turn. I'm backing up, looking through all my mirrors and over my shoulder. I reach the original left I was supposed to take and head down that street. Immediately, a pair of headlights pop up behind me. It was like they appeared out of nowhere, because I'd been looking all around my car while I was backing up, and we were alone. I'm also pretty sure that directly behind me was a field, meaning the car was just sitting off the road. I instantly get this feeling of dread, but continue driving and say nothing. My sister's a worrier, and I didn't want to freak her out. About 10 seconds later, the car behind me rides my bumper so close that any little break would have made us crash. Like I said, it's a gravel back road, so the speed limit's 30. I just start speeding up. 40, still right behind me. 50, still right behind me. My sister notices how fast I'm going. I don't have the ability to lie and not get run off the road, so I tell her that I think someone is following us. Almost as soon as I tell her, another car appears. It pulls out from behind the other car and into the other lane, facing incoming traffic. He speeds up until he's right next to me, and he's not forceful, but it's really clear that he's trying to run us slightly off the road. At this point, I'm trapped between these two cars with no way out. I'm going at least 75 in my old 2012 little Nissan Versa. My sister says maybe they just need help to change a tire or something. We should pull over. I, of course, refuse. She's just doing mental gymnastics to try and hide from how scary this is. Now, mind you, these back roads have these insane, sharp curves and very slim pavement. So if I make one little mistake, we crash. And at this speed, we could die. I roll the windows down and I tell my sister to scream as loud as she can. I start blaring on the horn. I'm shaking so bad, I don't even know how I'm staying on the road. No one is around, of course. We're in the middle of nowhere. And they don't care. They just keep riding to the left and right behind us. At this point, my sister is completely freaking out, just hyperventilating and sobbing. I'm trying to calm her down, but I'm also blaring the horn and focusing on the road, so I'm not much help to her. Somehow, by some godforsaken miracle, my sister gets a call. To this day, I have no words for how perfect this timing was. It's my ex-turned-friend calling to ask if everything's okay because we're taking a really long time. She's checked our location and she can see how fast we're going. My sister tells her what's going on, and my friend pulls out her GPS and she says, if you keep going, it's a dead end. It leads straight to a body of water. I instantly feel so sick to my stomach. At the same time, I'm so full of adrenaline, I feel like I'm not even in my own body anymore. She then says there's this one last turn we can make, a parking lot where we could pull a U-turn, but it's coming up quick. I see it just in time and yank the wheel to the right. We veer into the parking lot and the force of the turn pushes the car just slightly off its two right wheels. I'm tightening my grip on the wheel, trying desperately to keep the car from flipping over. And after what feels like an eternity, the two wheels fall back onto the pavement, and I floor it. I look back in my rear view, thinking for sure we'd lost them. I'm dead wrong. A moment later, they're speeding towards us again. Pretty soon, they're right behind us. We scream and I blare the horn. Then headlights appear ahead of us. There's a car at the top of the small hill right ahead of us, and it's headed straight for the car on our left. The guy chasing us brakes and swerves into the correct lane, but as soon as the other car passes, he pulls right back next to us. I just keep going, and with the help of my friend on the phone, we find a better lit road. It's still in the middle of nowhere, but at least this time there's a gas station and some streetlights. We turn onto it, and they instantly back off, just disappear into the night. I am very convinced that this was some sort of trafficking situation. We made it home completely safe and called my dad, and he convinced us that it was nothing, and we were just paranoid. He also told us not to call the cops, so I'll never truly know what happened that night. But I still get freaked out driving at night. I check my rearview mirror every couple of seconds. It's something I truly never got over. So, thank you to my ex. I hate you, but you saved my life that day. And more importantly, my sisters.
Disturbed will return in a moment. There's a point where you start noticing patterns. Same bill every month, same charges that don't make sense, same feeling that you're paying more than you should. That's how it was with my wireless, so I changed it. I've used Mint Mobile for 3 years and I've never looked back. Mint was built to fix the way wireless works. Their premium plan starts at just $15 a month. You get high-speed data and unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. No contracts, no extra fees hiding in the fine print. You bring your phone, keep your number, activate in minutes, and you're done. And the service holds up. That was the part I was skeptical about. But compared to what I had before, there's no drop-off, just a lower bill every month. Ditch overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. If you like your money, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/disturbed. That's mintmobile.com/disturbed. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month 5GB plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extras. See Mint Mobile for details. Most people don't think about what they wear. They just grab whatever's there. But when you start paying attention, you realize how much easier it is when everything actually works. That's why I keep going back to Quince. Quince has all the wardrobe staples for spring. 100% European linen shorts and shirts starting at $34. I picked up 2 of their linen shirts recently, and it has been in a constant rotation. It's breathable, comfortable, and still looks put together. And it didn't cost what I expected. Everything is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands because Quince works directly with ethical factories and cuts out the middlemen. Refresh your everyday with luxury you'll use. Head to quince.com/disturbed for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/disturbed for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/disturbed. Next, a camping trip takes a turn for the worse when an uninvited visitor shows up. Narrated by Ethan Rhodes, from Reddit user OKBear733.
In July 2025, me and my group of friends went on a camping trip together at Bear Brook State Park in Allentown, New Hampshire. There were 7 of us in total: me, Mac, Joe, Danny, Mitch, Nate, and Mac's dad, Ben. We were staying at the campground in the park in the tent sites. It was the last night of our week-long camping trip, and I was half asleep in my tent while some of the other guys went to the bathroom. Mac and his dad waited for the others around the campfire. The bathroom was right across the street from our campsite, and we could hear everything that went on over there. Even from inside my tent, I could hear my friends fooling around inside while they were brushing their teeth and doing who knows what. I suddenly had the urge to pee, and not gonna lie, I wanted to see what they were up to, so I got up and joined the other guys in the bathroom. Upon entering, I was quickly snapped with a towel, which led to more yelling and laughter. I made my way to the urinal and started to go, when out of nowhere, a man in his late 30s or 40s walked into the bathroom. My friend Mitch was kind of in the man's way, so when he noticed, he quickly moved out of the way and said, "Oops, sorry." The guy ominously said nothing. He went to the urinal and went to pee and then flushed, washed his hands, and walked out without saying anything, or really even acknowledging we were there. As soon as he left the bathroom, we started talking about how creepy he was. My friends thought he looked dead inside, with a kind of 1,000-yard stare in his eyes. Mitch made ghost noises, woo, woo, which led to more laughter. Then Joe told us to be quiet, and pointed to the bathroom windows. We all lowered our voices and listened. Footsteps, pacing back and forth on the gravel outside of the bathroom windows. We all looked at each other. Could it be him? The creepy dude that just left? Had he been there the whole time? We were all a little freaked out at that possibility. We were whispering to each other about getting out of there when suddenly he walked right back in like there was nothing weird about it. We went back to brushing our teeth, acting all nonchalant. He walked over to the same urinal and pretended to use it. But it was obvious he wasn't doing anything. When he was finished, he again washed his hands and then left. We waited a minute to make sure he was gone, and then we got the hell out of there. As we were walking out of the bathroom, we thought we heard something behind us by the trees. We looked, but we didn't see anything or anyone. When we got back to the campsite, we told Mac and Ben what happened. We were deep into our story when we heard a sound, like footsteps in the tall grass and branches cracking. We all stopped and listened. Mac and Ben turned around and shone their flashlights back toward the bathroom and panned them across the area. That's when Nate saw him first. He kind of whispered, "There he is, behind the tree." To our absolute horror, we saw that same man from the bathroom had followed us back to our campsite. Mac and Ben kept their lights illuminating the half of his body that was still sticking out from behind the tree. We all watched him, wondering what he was going to do next. At first, when he noticed the lights were on him, he tried to make it look like he was just chilling and tried to walk away and play it off like he was supposed to be there. But then he quickly realized he had definitely been spotted. He knew he was in too deep, and he stopped his charade and yelled towards us, "Put the light down, little boys, and go to bed." That's when Ben yelled back, "Stop following my boys." That's when the man replied, "I was going for a walk when I heard them hooting and hollering in the bathroom, being super loud this late at night." Ben yelled back something like, "Yeah, right, totally," calling him out for whatever he believed was a BS lie. Ben didn't believe him. No one believed him. Then that was it. The man turned around and left. He walked off into the pitch black dark without turning on a flashlight or anything. I watched him walk away for as long as I could make out some piece of him. Then I got a weird feeling, an intuition of sorts. It felt like he was still watching us. My eyes scanned the open field next to our campsite. I maybe saw his outline, but it was way too dark to tell. The feeling didn't go away. And the creepy thing is, the field doesn't lead to any other campsites. It just leads to a pond, which meant he was still close by. We were definitely pretty spooked and called the ranger, but nobody picked up. Then we called the cops, and they took a bit to get there, but when the officer finally arrived, we told them what happened. He said that this isn't as uncommon a thing as we might expect, and he's not saying this is exactly what happened, but he told us that there are times when homeless people come by, get into people's sites, and take some supplies and other stuff. They searched the area, but they didn't find anything. We decided to get out of there in case he returned and left that night. The next day, we called the campground people and reported everything, giving as inaccurate a description of the guy as possible. They let us know that to their knowledge, there was no camper presently there who matched that description. To this day, we have no idea who this guy was, why he was following us, or what his intentions were. My friends and I to this day talk about how creepy it was and try to come up with what was going on in this guy's head. We all agree that we are super glad Ben was there. Or who knows what could have happened.
In our third story, what happens when your stalker finds out where you work? Narrated by Kaye Burgh from Reddit user Cheese Rice.
So I work at a gas station, and there's this guy. He's around 40, and he watches me very intensely. He comes in a lot, and when I say comes in, I don't mean like a normal customer. He'll walk around pretending to grab things, but he's really just looking for me. We've checked the cameras. He's not subtle about it at all. There's some history here too. I first saw him when I worked at a different gas station. I'll call that Store 1. At that job, he would follow me around, like uncomfortably close. He'd make comments about how cute I am and ask me weird questions like whether my name was actually on my birth certificate. I'm non-binary and don't go by my legal name, so I know why he'd think that, but it was a weirdly personal thing to ask. Unfortunately, I tend to be polite even when I'm uncomfortable, and he clearly took that as an invitation. Eventually, I moved out of town for about a year. When I came back, I started working at a different location, Store 2, where I am now. At some point, I ran into him again at a local smoke shop where he works. I didn't recognize him right away, but I had that gut feeling, you know, when something feels familiar but you can't place it. So I made small talk, just trying to be normal, but his vibe was really off. When I realized who he was, I put what I was going to buy on a random shelf and ducked out as quickly as possible. Not long after that, he started coming into my current store. He must have seen me and realized I was back in town. I don't know how he found where I was working, but it confirmed that he was stalking me again. The first time he showed up at my new job, he came up behind me and started talking loudly to me. I kind of shut down and tuned most of it out because I was honestly scared. What else did this guy know about me? Where I live? Where I hung out? After that, I stopped responding to him and would just quickly duck into the kitchen whenever I saw him. Later that same day, he came back again. But this time, he didn't try to talk to me. Instead, he just stood there, watching me. A few minutes turned into nearly 20. No movement, no words, just staring. At that point, I started getting really anxious. I stayed holed up in the kitchen while I looked to see if he had a record. He did. He had a few DUIs and an incident where he was aggressive with an officer. Nothing specifically stalking related, but it confirmed my suspicions. This guy was dangerous. Then a couple days ago, things got worse. I saw him near the hot food area, but I just ignored him and kept working. Later, we checked the cameras and saw something weird. He walked around to the back of the area, bent down slightly and peered through a window into another room. We flipped through the other camera feeds to see what he was looking at. And there I was. He was using the wall and window as cover. This morning, I almost didn't go to work. If he's willing to creep around where I work, who's to say he isn't doing that around my house? In the end, I decided to go because I need the money. But I had a coworker pick me up and drive me so I'd feel safe. A few hours into the shift, I saw him again. Of course, I asked to check the cameras in real time to see what he was doing, and it was really unsettling. You can clearly see him picking something up, look around, and then put it back. Then he does it again. And again. He only actually grabbed like 3 items, but he just kept wandering the store, lingering. He wasn't there to shop even a little bit. He was just trying to find me. This has been going on for years now. And ever since I stopped acknowledging him, his behavior has shifted into just silently watching me. I don't know what he wants. I don't know if he's waiting for the right moment or if he just wants to look at me, but it makes me really uncomfortable. And I don't think I'm crazy for feeling that way. The part that really gets me, this isn't the first time he's crossed boundaries. A friend of mine who used to work at the store got a note from him with his phone number on it, and he handed it to her in the kitchen, like behind the counter, where customers are absolutely not supposed to be. Our manager actually called the number and told him to never come back, but because it wasn't an official HR ban, it didn't stick. So this guy has already been told directly to stay away, And he still comes in. He's also tried to add my mom on Facebook. That's right, he found my family. So this isn't just a one-time thing. This is a pattern. The good news is my coworkers are on my side. They all know who he is. They know what's been happening, and we're working on getting him officially banned now. Hopefully that will solve everything. But I don't know. I'm honestly pretty scared.
Most banks are built to take from you. Fees, overdraft charges, minimums. One mistake and your money is gone. Chime does it differently. Chime is changing the way people bank. They offer the most rewarding, fee-free banking. This is fee-free banking built for you. They're not like traditional old banks that charge you overdraft and monthly fees. With Chime, you can get up to $1,150 in annual rewards, fee-free. Set up direct deposit and unlock more. You can get your paycheck early and even access up to $500 of your pay when you need it with MyPay. And the savings can actually grow. Chime offers 3.75% APY. That's 9 times higher than the national average. I know I wish I had Chime when I was younger. Chime is not just smarter banking. It is the most rewarding way to bank. Join the millions who are already banking fee-free today. Head to chime.com/disturbed. That's chime.com/disturbed. It only takes a few minutes to sign up. Chime is a fintech, not a bank. Banking services for MyPay provided by Chime's bank partners. Optional products and services may have fees or charges. Stated annual percentage yield for Chime Prime only. No minimum balance required. For more information on APY rates, MyPay, go to chime.com/disclosures. Every idea starts the same way. Quiet, uncertain. You wonder if anyone will care, if it's even worth trying. The hesitation stops most people. But if you're building something, the tools you choose matter. And that's where Shopify comes in. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US. From brands just getting started to established names, it gives you everything you need in one place. I was blown away by how I could build a clean, professional online store with hundreds of ready-to-use templates that match my brand. I can manage inventory, payments, and analytics without jumping between platforms. And Shopify is packed with AI tools that help me write product descriptions, page headlines, and even improve my product photography. If people have not heard of your brand yet, Shopify helps you reach them with email and social campaigns. And if you get stuck, their 24/7 support is always there. It's time to turn those what-ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/disturbed. Go to shopify.com/disturbed. That's shopify.com/disturbed. Welcome back to Disturbed. Finally, 2 kids embark on a self-guided tour of a crawl space under a church when something down there makes itself known. Narrated by Walter Thomas. From Reddit user OKBlock1445.
Two years ago, my youth group at church took a trip down to this youth convention in Ohio. It was about a week-long trip, and it was pretty fun. On the drive there and back, we stayed at a church for a night because the trip was a very long one. When we stopped on the way back, that church's youth group happened to be there as well. A friend of mine and I met this girl who told us about the catacombs beneath that church, as well as this crawl space that went through the church's walls. The catacombs were sealed off and no one was supposed to go in them, but the girl showed us the entrance to the crawl space, which was about 4 feet up in the middle of the wall in the boiler room. It must have been 4 feet high or 4 feet wide, covered by an inch of dust and coated in black mold, and obviously there was no light. Me and my friend were both kind of stupid and liked urban exploring, so we decided to go up into the crawl space as soon as the girl left and see how far back it went. Since there was black mold and tons of dust, we held our shirts over our mouths and noses so that we couldn't breathe it in. Neither of us could stand all the way up, so we had to crouch as we went. All we had for light were our phones' flashlights, and when we flashed it down the tunnel, we couldn't see the end. We must have been crawling back there for like 30 minutes, and there was no end in sight. The crawl space kept going and going. The girl told us the crawl space didn't go outside of the church, and the building itself wasn't that big, so we assumed we must have just misjudged how big the church was. After a while, we started to get anxious and looked back down the tunnel. We'd gone so far that we couldn't see the entrance anymore. The lights were on in the boiler room, and we still couldn't see it, so we stopped to take a breather and to decide if we're going to go back. Ultimately, we decided to keep going a little farther, and after a couple more minutes, we reached a turn, so we turned, and then it turned again and kept going back. By this point, we both know that we were outside of the church building's perimeter, so either the girl didn't know what she was talking about, or she lied to us. Then we reached a cross-section. It opened up wide enough that we could stand up, but in order to keep going, we had to walk sideways. One direction stopped at a dead end a few feet away, but the other end kept going. We decided to go down it. It went down kind of far before reaching a really cool, old-looking gate that was rusted shut and locked with an ancient-looking bolt. We couldn't open it, and from what we could see, all that was past the gate was a big drop that went down into just sheer blackness. So we turned around to go back. We scaled the wall, walking sideways, feeling good about our decision, but when we got back to the cross-section, there was something there that hadn't been before. In the middle of the path was a shiny metal folding chair. Our first reaction was, oh, maybe we missed it. But here's the thing, the girl told us that no one comes back here. And the entire crawl space is covered in at least an inch of dust, and this part was no exception. The chair was new looking and didn't have any dust on it. There were also no footprints anywhere around it. In fact, the dust in that whole area lay there undisturbed. My friend had recorded part of our adventure, planning to post it later, and when we checked the footage, we were right. The chair hadn't been there. We stood there for a moment, completely frozen and freaking out, darkness and silence pressing in on us. Then, coming from seemingly nowhere, we heard a long, drawn-out exhaling noise, followed by a loud scrape and a big metal clang, the opening and closing of a gate. My friend screamed, then I screamed, and we started going back down the tunnel. We were bent over, crouching, holding our shirts over our faces, and we could barely breathe. Behind us, we could hear loud scuffling noises that kept getting closer and closer and closer. It felt like we were crouch running forever when we finally made it back to the boiler room. Right before I jumped out of the crawl space, I shone my flashlight back down the tunnel. And I saw it. Something had been following toward us. It was big and dark, and it was still moving, making its way towards the opening in the wall. We jumped out as fast as we could and slammed the crawl space door closed. We got out of the boiler room as quickly as we could and locked the door behind us. When we got back to the youth room, everyone was there. We were the only people in the group who'd known about the crawl space. All of the other adults in the church were working elsewhere in the building, and all of the church's youth group members were accounted for. According to the people we asked, no one had gone into the crawl space for years. And they confirmed that, yes, the crawl space only went through the church. To this day, neither of us really knows what happened. I don't believe in ghosts or whatever, but there was definitely something in that crawl space, and it went much, much farther than that building went. And we can't forget about the chair. How did it get there? My friend and I don't talk that often anymore. But if you were to ask either of us, our story has stayed the same. The chair wasn't there before. The crawl space went farther than it was supposed to, and something was following us out. I hadn't told a lot of people about it, but it still freaks me out to this day. It is by far the creepiest thing that's ever happened to me.
New episodes of Disturbed drop every Thursday. If you love the show, consider becoming a member to access early and ad-free episodes. There you can also access our exclusive monthly series, A Night by the Campfire, where we share the scariest stories we can find from professional authors. A few episodes have been released here for free, so scroll down and listen. I'm your host, Doug Bailey, and this has been Disturbed. If you have a story you'd like to share, email us at mystory@disturbedpodcast.com or post on our subreddit, r/disturbedpodcast. If you enjoyed the show, consider subscribing and leaving a review. Disturbed is a production of Killer Podcasts and part of the Evergreen Network. For more true crime and paranormal shows, visit killerpodcasts.com. Our producer is Sarah Wilgrube, and Declan Roars is our executive producer. Audio engineering by Nathan Corson, Sean Rule Hoffman, and Will Pritz. Music by Epidemic Sound and by Carl Casey at White Bat Audio. Until next time, stay safe out there.